Okay, well, there's a glitch. He's having a hard time getting into the YouTube feed, but we still have audio, and he's working on it so we can,
All you can see is me and you.
yeah. And
That's,
it's not like we don't
sorry,
have
folks, you're not going to get
faces
that
for
thrill tonight.
YouTube anyways.
We are going to,
Don does, not me.
we're going to begin our meeting. We do not have video. The technicians are working on it, but audio is what matters here. And I'm going to just begin before we start our meeting by reading a brief statement from the county. It has been determined, excuse me, it has been determined that an in-person meeting is not practical or prudent because of the COVID-19 pandemic and the related peacetime emergency declaration made by Governor Walz in accordance with Minnesota Statutes Chapter 12. We have ensured that all members of the body participating in the meeting, wherever their physical location, can hear one another and can hear all discussion and testimony offered at today's meeting. We have also ensured that members of the public present at the regular meeting location, well, there's no one here tonight, but that they can hear all discussion and testimony and all votes of the members of the body. We have urged the public not to attend this meeting in person because of the COVID-19 pandemic and have ensured that members of the public can view and monitor the meeting remotely, real-time, by broadcasting the meeting on the Cook County website. All votes will be conducted by roll call, so each member's vote on each issue will be identified and recorded. Thank you. And we'll begin tonight with it is August 12th meeting of the Planning Commission, and we'll begin with a roll call of the Planning Commission members. Adam Treefel.
Present.
You, Jerry Hineker. Okay, we'll move on. Judy Machenbacher.
Present.
Charlie Laboda.
Here.
Greg Mueller.
Present.
John Schlutt.
Present.
Thank you, and I'm here as well. So, I'm Don Fair. And Jerry, if Jerry checks in later, we'll pick him up. So, let's begin the meeting with the, adopt the agenda for tonight and approve the minutes of our last meeting of July 8th. If you've had a moment, time to read those minutes, I entertain a motion.
Move to adopt agenda and approve minutes of July.
Thank you, John. We have a motion. Do we have a second?
I'll second Machenbacher.
Thank you, Judy. We have a motion and a second to adopt the agenda for tonight and approve the minutes of our last meeting. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor? Oh, excuse me, go ahead.
Yeah, Mr. Chair, sorry, this is Tim Nelson. I just want to save a little bit of time at the end of the meeting to discuss the method of meeting for next month.
Very good.
It's online or whatever, so just a little bit of time.
Do you want to do that, Tim, at the end of the planning or at the end of the second meeting?
Yeah, actually, at the end of the planning.
Sure, well,
because we have to
yeah,
look
yeah,
at
that's-
something while,
Yeah, I appreciate, that's right. All right, fine. Just remind me if I forget. Not that I can remember anything for 5 minutes here, so. Okay, we have a motion and a second to adopt the agenda and approve the minutes of last week. We voted, did we vote on that? No, we just took a roll call. It's time for the vote. We have a motion and a second. Adam Treefel.
Aye.
Jerry Hineker. Jerry here. Judy.
Aye.
Charlie.
Aye.
Greg.
Aye.
And John.
Aye.
And I am an aye as well, so that is passed. We'll move on to our agenda for tonight. We have just,
Old business.
we don't, we're going to add to our, we just adopted the agenda, and I'm going to, I forgot to tell you to change it before we did it. We're going to add some old business. We should just discuss, I'll let Mr. Lane take us there.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Commission members, as you know, at the July 12th meeting of the Planning Commission, Charles Van Doren came to the board or to the commission with a request to establish a remote refueling station at his property in Schroeder. The planning commission voted 4-2 to deny that request. It was forwarded to the Board of Commissioners. And on July 28th, Land Services brought that to the Board of Commissioners. And it was actually the denial recommendation was overturned by the Board of Commissioners by a 3-1 vote, with the recommendation that the request be sent back to the Planning Commission with the required more specific information from the applicant. Now, what that does is that means that your recommendation for denial was not sustained, but also that it starts a new process for an application for Mr. Van Doren. And what that means is that he's going to have to resubmit an application. Director Nelson and I have already discussed, and we will waive that fee for Mr. Van Doren. But one of the requests, and this is a fairly ambiguous inclusion, was for engineered plans, which, if you'll recall, was one of the conditions on the original Land Services narrative. So Mr. Van Doren, if he does want to come forward, is going to have specific plans addressing the concerns of the Planning Commission. That will be a new submittal and request. So it will go into the cycle for the first of the month deadline, with the inclusion on the next month's agenda. At this point, if Mr. Van Doren gets his new application with engineering documents in by September 1st, that will be presented to the Planning Commission on October 14th, and then to the Board of Commissioners thereafter. So that's just some bookkeeping information. And Director Nelson, if you want to add anything to that, which might be informative, certainly chime in.
Thanks, Bill. I don't really have too much to add to that, other than it's really just the responsibility of the applicant to go ahead and provide whatever information. He had made some direct pleas to commissioners and such that he wanted to be able to put more information together and have it referred in front of the Planning Commission, and so that's what the allowance is. And so it's basically the burden lies with the applicant to provide, the sufficient language or information for the Planning Commission members to just reconsider the proposal with any new information that's out. That's all.
Very good, thank you, Tim. So there's no action needed here by the commission tonight, but just some updated information for us, so we know where things stand. Okay, we can then move on to new business. We only have one item there. Is Chelsea and Kelly Pusk. They have a request for a conditional use permit to establish a duplex within the FAR 3 zone district on property adjacent to County Road 48. Legal description is the easterly 100 feet of the north 1/2 of the northeast 1/4 of the northwest 1/4, and the west 400 feet of the northwest 1/4 of the northeast 1/4, all in Section 23, Township 61 North, Range 1 West, PID number 521231200. Mr. Lane.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. This is case 2020-10 CUP. The Pusks purchased their property in 2019. Parcel includes 10 acres and is within the Forest Agriculture Residential or FAR 3 zone district. Cook County zoning ordinance identifies 2 to 4 family dwelling in a single structure as a conditional use. Definition of conditional uses and interim uses is included. And again, this is a conditional use without a time constraint on it. You can, as a deciding board, change that. However, the precedent is that duplexes are given a conditional use allowance. Considerations: the Pusk property was purchased in 2019, and the 10-acre parcel supports a 3-level residence with a livable area of over 3,000 square feet. The dwelling was constructed in 1992 and currently exhibits 18% structural depreciation. Under previous ownership, a conditional use permit was approved by the Board of Commissioners in 2003, allowing a bed and breakfast operation. The CUP remained valid until 2014, when the property was placed into foreclosure. New owners did not initiate a continuation of the bed and breakfast operation as per Condition 5 of Resolution 2003-70, and that use is no longer valid. The parcel exhibits steep to moderate slopes, and as with adjacent properties, build-out has largely occurred in the upper portions of the landscape adjacent to County Road 48. It is not new information that housing is a perpetual point of concern and discussion in Cook County. The topic received prominent mention in the 2016 Land Use Guide Plan and is the focus of both local and regional efforts to alleviate perceived shortages of affordable short and long-term housing. The following excerpts from the Land Use Guide Plan are suggestive of Cook County's housing crunch. Too much of Cook County's housing is unaffordable for too many residents. Cost of land, access, well, and septic can easily total $90,000 before any construction occurs. This greatly restricts the ability of new residents to move into the county. Go Cook identified factors raising housing costs as being low supply of available land, lack of infrastructure, zoning restrictions, and limited financing. Competition for buildable land between year-round and second home markets tends to raise prices beyond reach of year-round residents. Many properties once available to year-round residents have been converted into vacation rentals, further reducing supply of housing stock. And finally, for every 100 new residents, an additional 25 to 40 new housing units must be built. 2 to 4 families in a single residence is defined as a CUP in the FAR 3 zone district. The request by the PUSCs occurs within guidance established by Cook County's regulatory process. This permit will provide an additional housing option in the county and is reasonable in its design and intent. If approved, the following conditions may be attached to this CUP. 1, property shall conform to Minnesota Rule 7080 and the Cook County Septic Ordinance. 2, the property's septic design shall be reviewed by Cook County Environmental Health Department to ensure it is suitable for multiple families. 3, the property owner shall be responsible for adherence to any state or federal licensing requirements. And 4, all FAR 3 zone district requirements shall be adhered to. We sent out 15 notices. We received several phone inquiries without comment at the time of this narrative preparation.
Thank you, Bill. Are the PUSCs available to comment? Folks, are you there?
Yeah.
Sure. Just give us your name and address for the record, if you would, and tell if you have anything in addition you'd like to add to Bill's comments.
Kelly and Chelsea Puss, 180 County Road 48, Grand Marais, Minnesota.
Thank you.
I don't think we have anything to say in addition. I think that was reasonable.
Okay. I didn't, excuse me, Bill, I didn't ask, did we get any additional correspondence?
No.
No mail. So you've had no correspondence regarding this property. Very well. Then I will open it to the public. If there's anyone from the public who wishes to comment on this conditional use permit application for a duplex or a 2 to 4 unit property in the FAR 3 zone, now would be your opportunity. Anyone wish to comment? Anyone wish to comment on the PUSC request for a conditional use permit? Well, hearing none, I'm going to close the public portion of the hearing, and then we'll move to commissioners for any comments or thoughts you might have. Just, again, I don't think we need to go through the whole roll. If folks want to make a comment, go ahead.
This is Commissioner Treefel. I've been to that property several times, and I know Chelsea and Kelly and their businesses that they run, everything they do. really good, and from what they're planning on doing, it would only negative it could affect would be them, from what I can see, no one the distance away from other residency that. So I would be in favor of approving that.
Yeah, thank you,
That's
Adam.
all I have to add.
Thank you. Anyone else?
This is Commissioner Schloot, and I too I've not been to the property, but I have looked at the maps and overlays of the area. And 10 acres of land, it certainly does seem reasonable, and I would be in favor of this too.
Very good. I did visit the property today myself. I didn't go up to the house and bother folks. Just as I looked at the property, it was obviously, obvious as Adam said, it shouldn't be bothering anyone there. It looks like a good use. Any other commissioners?
I have a question. Is this the permanent residence for the owner? So they would be on site as well?
I believe that's correct. Do you want to answer that, folks?
Yeah, it is our permanent residence.
So, very good.
And is there any change in the footprint of the building to accommodate this?
No, it's none.
Okay,
The apartment was pre-existing, so we'll probably renovate it a little bit, but,
right.
other than that, no changes to the external footprint.
Okay, all right.
Thank you, Judy. Anyone else?
This is Greg Mueller. I'm not there today. I speak to the program. Great class member.
Thank you, Greg. Well, if no further comments, I'd certainly entertain a motion.
Commissioner Schloot, I would move to approve this conditional use permit for Kelly and Chelsea.
Thank you. We have a motion to approve by Commissioner Schlutt, a second by Commissioner Machenbacher. Any further discussion? Okay, hearing none, we'll take the roll call vote again. Adam Triefel?
I in favor.
Thank you. Jerry Hineker? Judy Machenbacher?
Aye.
Charlie Laboda?
Aye.
Greg Mueller?
Aye.
John Schlutt?
Aye.
And I will vote aye as well. So the commission passes it, it'll be pushed on, sent on to the county board.
Correct.
You notify them at that
Yes.
time? You get notice of that, folks. So thank you. We are finished with the planning commission meeting. I entertain a motion to adjourn.
Mr. Chair, this is Commissioner Laboda. I don't know if it matters or not, but maybe we should
Oh.
clarify that
Tim's,
the conditions as they were written.
the conditions on the Busk property?
Yeah, we didn't mention that in the motion. I don't know
Oh.
if that's necessary.
Yeah. Does everyone understand that that motion and second was to approve with the conditions as, the motion as written? We have 4 conditions. Yeah, that was your motion, and Judy, you seconded that?
Yes.
Yes. And anyone whose vote wasn't appropriate there that didn't understand? No, I think we all understood that. Thank you. Thanks for clarifying that, Charlie. Tim, this would be an opportunity to discuss the item you wanted here.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. As everybody does know, ever since we started meeting virtually over the remote setting like this, we've utilized the conference call-in setting with live streaming over the YouTube to be able to accomplish the meeting. And now I've seen that our Board of Commissioners has kind of transitioned and tried it out with the Zoom, which is individual video links going in so that everybody can see everybody that's in the meeting, and we have the option to be able to kind of move in that direction So I basically want to get the feel of the planning commission members as to whether you're comfortable, as long as we're staying remote, in the current way configuration that we have with the conference call-in number, or if you would like to try to opt for the Zoom video link on that. I just wanted to get some feedback.
What are your thoughts, folks?
This is Commissioner. I'm open to the Zoom.
Okay, Greg says he's open to it. That's the only one I got there. Who are the others?
This is Charlie. I'm open to Zoom. I think that's a pretty good format.
Okay. And Greg thought it was okay. Anybody have a problem with Zoom? Or anybody want to stay on the system we're on? Tim, sounds like folks are okay with Zoom, if I interpret the silence properly.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Chair. And what we can do is I will work with our IS folks to start getting that set up, and I can run little test meetings to give the opportunity for people to try to key in there to make sure that they can connect up successfully with the audio and visual and everything between now and next month's meeting.
Yeah, that would be good. Some of us can't run our telephone, much less Zoom computer, so we'll need some help. Okay, so I guess we're done with that. Did we, I don't think we ever voted on adjournment, did we? Or did we?
I'll move we adjourn.
Okay, we got a motion. Second, all in favor? Adam Trefel. Jerry Hineker is not here. Judy. Charlie Laboda. Greg Mueller. John Schlut. And myself. We are adjourned. And we're going to start the Board of Adjustment meeting. Yes, Board of Adjustment for this evening. Our first item will be to adopt the agenda and approve the minutes of our July 8th meeting. And I don't think I need to go through the roll call, and we know we have 4 of the 5 members of the Board of Adjustment present. So we have 4 out of 5 here. Jerry Hineker is not here. So, if you've had a moment to look at the minutes and the agenda, I would entertain a motion to adopt them.
Commissioner Laboda, I move to adopt the agenda and approve the minutes.
Thank you, Charlie. I got a motion. Do we have a second?
I'll second.
Thank you, Judy.
Rocker.
Thank you, Judy. Any further discussion? Hearing none, then I'll call the roll. Adam Trefel.
Aye.
Jerry Hineker, are you here, Jerry? No. Judy Machenbacher?
Aye.
Charlie Laboda?
Aye.
And I will vote aye myself. So it's, that is approved to adopt the agenda. New business. We have 2 items tonight. And the first is a Steve Serbaugh request for a variance from the property line setback to expand a building within the LBDA zone district on property adjacent to Norbakken Road in Lutzen. Legal description is part of the southwest quarter and part of the northeast quarter of the southwest quarter of Section 26, Township 60 North, Range 3 West, PID 27-126-3135. Mr. Lane.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. This is case 2020-19V, and this property has been in Mr. Serbaugh's and 47 North 90 West's ownership since 2015. Property includes 2.97 acres with approximately 440 feet of frontage on Norbakken Road. Parcel serves as the location of Cascade Vacation Rentals housing and maintenance operations, and the property is entirely contained within the Light Business Development Area, or LBDA, zone district. Just for your information, I'll give you the definition of the Light Business Development Area zoning, and its purpose is to create areas suitable for development of light manufacturing, warehousing, office, and other similar industrial uses which are either A, uses whose operations are relatively free from influences that would be reasonably objectionable to an adjacent residential area, or B, uses whose objectionable features will be minimized or eliminated by design and/or appropriate devices. These uses should be compatible with each other and surrounding land uses, including residential areas. Move on to the considerations. This property has served as the business hub of Cascade Vacation Rentals, CVR, since its purchase in 2015. The parcel is centralized within Lutzen's town center, a diverse mix of zoning and property ownership ranging from residential to commercial operations. The 47 North, 90 West parcel itself has undergone several zoning reconfigurations, moving from its original FAR 3 to Lutzen General Commercial to its current LBDA overlay. Build-out on the property is represented by 3 land use permits. A 2015 permit, 2015-57, facilitated construction of the staff apartments and laundry. Land use permit 2016-43 resulted in deck additions and enclosures to part of that original structure. And LUP 2018-163 resulted in construction of an approximately 1,200 square foot garage, which is the focus of this variance request. LBDA zoning includes unique setback requirements, including reduced property line setbacks for areas abutting commercial zoning and increased setbacks for areas abutting residential zoning. As depicted on the site map, the CVR garage is proximal to the eastern property line, which serves as the demarcation to FAR 3 zoning. As such, 50-foot property line setbacks are relevant. The garage met that threshold. The requested 384 square foot addition will encroach on that distance by 12 feet, making the adjusted or variance approved setback 38 feet from the eastern property line. The addition will house a cardboard crusher and facilitate the processing of other recyclables. Entry to the facility will occur along the northern wall of the structure. The transition to LBDA zoning and its general setbacks may have been invoked to provide a measure of protection for adjacent properties. There was concern expressed during the 2005 implementation, but at the same time limits usable area in the property. That, in essence, is the practical difficulty presented by CVR for their request. This is, after all, a business conducted in a zone district favoring that type of operation. If approved, the following conditions may be applied to this variance application. 1, no component of the addition may be closer than 38 feet from the eastern property line. 2, no construction may occur until a land use permit is approved by Land Services. 3, the property shall otherwise conform to all LBDA zoning requirements. And 4, the property owner is reminded of LBDA performance standards for all operations on the property, and that was included in your packet. 47 letters of notification were sent to property owners. Adjacent property owners, we received several inquiries, all without comment in favor or opposition to the request.
Thank you, Mr. Lane. Mr. Serba, are you there?
I am, yes.
Yes. Do you have anything you'd like to add to Bill's narrative?
No, that was a very thorough presentation. I'm happy to entertain any questions folks might have.
All right. Well, first we're going to go to the public, and then after that we'll come to commissioners or board members who may have a question for you then. I'll open it up now then to the public. Anyone who has comments to make regarding to the Serba request for a, what are we looking at, a variance of 12 feet in the, adjacent there to Norbakken Road in Lutzen. Now would be the opportunity to speak. If anyone wishes to address this issue, please let us know. Anyone in the public that wishes to comment regarding this application, now is the opportunity. Well, hearing none, then we're going to close the public portion of this hearing and turn to the board members for their comments or questions. Adam Trefel, you have anything there, Adam?
No,
Yeah.
no question.
Yeah.
on it or nothing to add.
Surprised you didn't, because I changed and called on you. I didn't mean to do that. Thank you, though, Adam. Is it anyone, the board members have questions or thoughts about this process or this permit? This variance, I should call it its correct name.
There were no comments from from neighboring properties? No letters, no comments?
No written comments, Commissioner Machenbacher. There were a couple of phone comments just in general, which were basically that the fit of that operation wasn't good for that area, but when pressed, they wouldn't give any written comments. So, you know, it's the general opinion rather than a firm statement.
And I'm reading the performance standards, and I think it covers appearance hazards, smoke, vibration, odor, lighting, and noise. And because we're adjusting the setback, which was put in place to preserve the residential distance, there may be hours of operation. I'm envisioning the recycle center of Cook County. Is that going to be kind of what it is with the crushing and the...
Mr. Sturbaugh, do you want to address that?
Sure. So the type of crusher that we're looking at is the one that would be towards the front, the yellow one that historically was used as a cardboard crusher, still is, but some of that crushing that occurs in the back room now. That's the size of it. It will only be done during business hours. We have no interest in running that at night or anything like that.
Right.
And it will be sheltered inside of a building, so it will also be the noise will be sheltered as well, and it will not be open to the public. That's only for our
Right.
use, and we'll process the stuff that is deposited in our recycling center already.
Right, okay. That would be the only condition I'd maybe insert is hours of operation.
Very
Just
good.
to have it understood that it's not a night job for somebody.
Very good. I will, in response to your comment, Judy, I will say that I did have a couple comments, pretty much echoing what Bill said. People who live farther up the road who aren't happy that it's there, and they made comments about appearance. I did visit it today, and I can't say that it's it's a light industrial area, and it looks like a light industrial use. You know, there's wood being
Right.
cut and that sort of thing, and I would just, my only comment would be, and I wouldn't put any conditions on this in addition, but I would just recommend that Cascade, you know, get along with the neighbors as best you can. Maybe if you can do a little something towards screening, it would be nice, but it is the right use for that area. I understand where people get concerned, though. Other comments?
Duly noted. I appreciate the comment.
Thank you. Other comments? Hearing none, does somebody want to make a motion?
Truthful, I'll make a motion to approve with the conditions stated.
Thank you, Adam. Can we stop for just a moment and say, Judy, did you want to talk about another condition?
Well, I kind of look a long ways down the road. Would this conditional use would
a
not
variance.
need to be renewed if...
Now, this is the variance. It's a variance for a setback, so,
So it would not be looked at again if the property were sold?
no. Right, the building is going to be built, and that'll be that, yes.
Right, and whatever use is permitted in we are taking 12 feet of the residential area?
12 feet of the setback, yes.
Yeah.
Yep.
That's to remain undisturbed and residential.
It'll be a 38-foot, it'll be 38 feet from this building now to the new property line, right?
To the
The existing
property
property line, yeah,
Correct.
yeah.
And I would just put operation from 7 to 5 or something, 7 a.m. to 5. Because that's something that could be be done in the evening. An evening shift could come in, and that would be quite disturbing.
Mr. Serbaugh, Judy Mattenbacher, Commissioner, just suggested hours of 7 to 5. Is that fit, is that going to be a problem?
Yep, no problem.
Very good. Monday through Friday or Saturday?
I
Saturday,
could live with every day of the week,
Okay.
just so you can get
7 to 5. All right. So we would add a fifth condition that the property owner, there would be hours of operation from 7 to 5. That's it, any day of the week, but not before 7 a.m. or after 5 p.m.
right.
And Bill's scratching wildly as he's doing this, so I think he's got it down. Adam, that's a friendly amendment to your motion?
Yeah, yes, it is.
All right, we have the motion then. Yes.
Okay, this is Tim Nelson, and I don't have a problem with the condition at all. I just want to kind of point out that as a practical measure in terms of enforcement, if we get, 2, 3, 4 years down the road, and we end up that somehow somebody's complaining because they're doing some activity that's after the hours, well, the building's going to be built. So the level of enforcement,
Yeah.
if you violate a condition of the variance, is to go through a revocation process of the variance, and with the structure already built, it's just going to be a little problematic to enforce. But I'm fine having it placed. I don't think it's going to be a problem.
Yeah.
I just wanted to point that out.
I don't either. I think while we are talking about taking 12 feet out the setback, it's on the far back side of the property, so it's actually moving recycling operations further away from Norbakken Road. Would that be correct, Mr. Serva?
Yes, that is correct.
Yeah, that's the way I interpret it. So, okay, we have a motion to approve with 5 conditions, the additional one being the hours of operation. Do we, let me think here. Did anybody make that motion? No, we need, yeah, excuse me, I gotta get my head together. Adam made the motion, and we are looking for a second.
Commissioner LeBona, I would second that.
Thank you, Charlie. So we have a motion and a second to adopt this request from from Serbaugh, and any further discussion? Hearing none, then we can vote. Commissioner Treeful,
Aye.
Commissioner Mattenbacher,
I,
Commissioner Laboda,
Aye.
and I'll be aye myself. So that is passed with 4 in favor, 0 against. Thank you. It's approved. Our second item tonight is the Timothy Day and Jean Larson request for a variance from the shoreline setback to construct a sauna on property adjacent to McFarland Lake. Legal description is Lot 11 of the rearrangement of part of Government Lot 5, Section 4, Township 64, Range 3 East, PID 55-440-0110. Mr. Lane.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. This is case 2020-20V. The Day Larson property includes .79 acres with approximately 100 feet of shoreline on McFarland Lake. McFarland Lake is categorized as a recreational development lake. Structural and septic absorption area setbacks on RD lakes are 100 feet from the ordinary high water elevation. Property is located within Lakeshore Residential Zone District, LSR, within 300 feet of the lake, and Forest Agriculture Residential, FAR 2, beyond the 300-foot buffer. The setback is the minimum horizontal distance between where a structure may be placed and the normal high water mark, road center line, road right-of-way, front side or rear lot line, well, sewage, soil absorption, and or soil treatment area. Considerations. Property has been in Larson Day ownership since 2011. Subsequent to purchase, they received 2 variances for property enhancements, including a 2012 variance to modify the existing cabin with the construction of a 12-12 pitched roof and a 2014 variance to enhance, modify 3 of the property's outbuildings. A visit to the property reveals bluff resources as the most obvious landscape feature of the property. In deference to the bluff, the parcel was created as a water access only property, and only during the Larson Day ownership has a land access been established. Evidence of hydrology between the shoreline and bluff is presented by hydric vegetation and surface water. Several constructed boardwalks facilitate movement on the parcel. The Larson Day request for a sauna comes on the heels of several sauna requests to the Board of Adjustment on Poplar, Caribou, and Bow Lakes. Saunas are categorized as a water-oriented accessory structure and are allowed by Minnesota Rule 6120, but not by the Cook County zoning ordinance. Instead, any structure designated as water-oriented in Cook County must adhere to resource setbacks or be accommodated through the variance process. The question is, are there criteria that can be established that would warrant a sauna allowance? In theory, these criteria would extend beyond the board's question sheet pertaining to practical difficulties and reasonableness of a variance request and would focus on resource and aesthetic impacts. As such, Land Services enlisted Cook County's environmental health inspector for baseline criteria for consideration of a sauna within a resource setback. First, is a sauna a dry sauna, that is, no pressurized water delivery? Second, if not dry, can gray water be discharged to a septic holding or treatment system? And finally, can wastes from a dry sauna, perspiration, etc., be discharged to the surface without introduction to surface water and wetlands? As presented, the Larson Day sauna will be dry. Its exposure to surface hydrology will be through a rock buffer contained within log cribbing. Sauna will be at least 50 feet from the water and further inland than the cabin. The parcel is heavily vegetated and lacking a topographical gradient to the lake, which should further limit possible contamination of the shared water resource. As may be also inferred by the vegetation, visibility is limited from a water-based perspective. Does this satisfy the decision process? Can this be transferred to other sauna requests? In some sense, yes. However, a common thread of all variances is that no 2 variances are the same because no 2 properties are the same. In this case, a sauna, if used seasonally and without immediate access to the lake, could be established without impacts to the shared water resource. It is up to the property owners, however, to demonstrate hygiene practices that do not result in the introduction of soap, distillates, or pathogens into the McFarland Lake resource. Should be noted that the applicants have already engaged in excavation of the sauna site, which directly conflicts with the need to construct atop a natural vegetative surface and may violate the Wetland Conservation Act. This preemptive activity will invoke the need to engage in a wetland consultation with Cook County's Wetland Authority. If approved, the following conditions may be applied to this variance application. 1, all permitting requirements of Cook County must be adhered to prior to the initiation of construction. 2, a site evaluation by Cook County's Wetland Authority, Mitch Travis, shall be necessary prior to construction. 3, the property's septic system shall conform to Minnesota Rule 7080 and Cook County septic requirements. A septic inspection shall be necessary. 4, construction must not deviate from plans submitted to as part of this variance request. The sauna shall be no closer than 50 feet from the McFarland Lake shoreline. 5, no vegetation or excavation may occur at the sauna site. Construction must occur atop of existing vegetation and soil strata unless otherwise directed by Land Services. We sent out 17 notices and received no comments.
Thank you, Bill. Mr. Day or Mr. Larson or Ms. Day, are you available?
Mr. Day is on the line.
All right. Would you have anything you'd like to add to Bill's narrative?
Well, thank you, Mr. Chairman, and thank you to the commissioners and administrator, Mr. Lane. I appreciate all that help along fully resolved, including a meeting with Mitch concerning the wetland ordinances that may apply. This is a request for variance that is meant to complete essentially a very delightful getaway seasonal cabin for my wife and I. And we've just been so blessed by having this beautiful place up north to get away and restore ourselves from our busy lives. And the sauna is really meant to bring a sort of a final element to the experience on Lake McFarland to allow for some, a sauna bathing experience for extended stays. And we're so pleased to have the opportunity before you today.
Thank you.
Be happy to answer questions.
Well, I'm going to open it up to the public for comments, and we'll get to the board members in a minute, and if they have questions, we'll ask you at that time. Thank you.
Thank you.
So I will, at this time, then, open it to the public. Anyone from the public that wishes to comment on the Larson Day variance application, now is your opportunity. Anyone that wishes to comment on the Larson Day application for a variance on McFarland Lake, now is your opportunity. Hearing none, we're going to close the public hearing then, and I will turn to the board members for any comments or questions they may have. Anyone have a question or thought here? And I will say that I did visit this site today, and I will challenge Bill's narrative about the land access now being there. I climbed down that billy goat path, and that's a questionable whether, I think it's still a water access property myself, but it's a beautiful spot once you get down there. And I will just tell the other commissioners, because I doubt that too many got that far out into the woods, they are tucking this back into the tightest corner as far from the lake as they possibly can without climbing back up that billy goat path to the top of the hill. So I will support the request myself. Other comments?
It's Commissioner Laboda, and I guess my question, I suppose, is for Bill or Tim. The condition of no removal of existing vegetation, I might have missed the reason for that. That's usually part of having a sound structure, is having a proper base for it. So, wondering if you could speak to that, Bill, or Tim.
Sure, Commissioner Laboda, that's a great question, and actually, the context of that was that condition was, I wrote that before I went out to the site, and what the function of that is that with the natural soil strata and vegetation on that tabletop flat landscape, that you're getting more filtration through that existing vegetative layer, even though it's got P-rock and that sort of thing on top of it. But you haven't disrupted the hydrology or the capillary action through the soil and that sort of thing. So it was just intended, it's like a, I guess it would be like some paper towels underneath a water cooler or something like that. It gives a little more filtration ability. It's more conducive to pathogen removal, and just that would be the preferred method. The fact that it's been disrupted isn't a big thing, but I think that's where we would allow Mitch Travis to come in and do some sort of mitigation, if any. I'm not really sure where he would go.
Thank you, Bill. Yeah, I guess in thinking about that, and when you do look at They are moving it as far from the lake as they reasonably can without climbing back up on top of the hill, but it is very close to the lake. I do support it because they're doing what they can do, but I can understand where the, even a little bit of infiltration we can get is good. Any other questions or comments from board members?
Seems reasonable to me, and it's a reasonable size.
Yep. It'll fit into it's going to look like the other little log buildings that are there. It'll look nice, I'm sure. It's a beautiful little site. Well, if no other questions or comments, I'd entertain a motion.
Commissioner LeBoda, I would motion to approve with the conditions as written.
Thank you, Charlie. I have a motion. Do we have a second?
I'll second.
Thank you, Judy.
Achenbacher.
We have a motion and a second to approve this variance request with the conditions as written. Any further discussion? Hearing none, then we'll call the roll call vote. Adam Trefel.
Aye.
Judy.
Aye.
And Charlie.
Aye.
And I vote aye myself. So it is a vote of 4, and 0 against. So it is approved. Thank you, sir. We are...
Thanks so much.
Yes, thank you. We are ready to adjourn, folks. If did we ever get video back?
Yes, you've been live streaming pretty much the whole time.
Oh, good. My wife tells me I'm supposed to sit up straight, so I've been trying. I've been trying. Okay, do we have a motion to adjourn?
I'll move we adjourn.
Motion by Judy, second?
This is Charlie, I'll second.
Thank you, Charlie. All in favor? Adam, excuse me.
Aye.
And Judy,
Aye.
and Charlie,
Aye.
and myself. We all vote aye. We are done, folks. Thank you again. Maybe
Thank
next
you.
month. Maybe next month we'll actually see you.
All right.
Have a good day, folks. Have a good day. Thank you. Bye now. Turn this sucker off there.
Good job, Don.
Karen told me, you're sitting there like this, there's nobody here, you just kind of.
They should have cots in here for
Oh my God,
us.
you know.
Hammocks.
So, of course, she never watches it. She did it one time and told me, you sit up, you look like a bum sitting in there.
How long have you been married?
30 years.
Wow.
Well, 40 if you count the first one.
We don't count those.
You don't count them.
Because those are too blissful.
Those are just training sessions. Jeez. Oh, yeah.